We started gardening nearly 2 years ago, in year 2019. And soon enough, we ran into several hurdles and failures. The reason was lack of comprehensive gardening know-how. It took us some time to gather and learn all the important basics of gardening in order to set our garden straight. We don't want you to suffer due to the same reason, which is why we are sharing these very basic gardening principles and steps to help you start your garden. We will start with the one you need and end with the one that would ensure great harvest in your garden. Let's dive into it. Item number 1. Make a list of gardening locations available to you. Will you be gardening in a balcony or in ground or making a raised bed? This will help you know the building materials you would need and take you to item number 2, which is to evaluate your shortlisted gardening locations. Pay attention to this video on how any object in northern hemisphere will cast shadow towards north. So a garden on north side of your house will not be getting enough sunlight. On your list of garden locations, cross off the ones on the north side of your house or around a large tree. Your garden should be planted on south side of your house. Using the same principle, always plant taller plants towards the north side of your garden so that they don't shadow out the smaller plants. Similarly, in southern hemisphere, all objects will cast a shadow towards south. So you should place your garden on north side of your house and plant taller plants towards the south end of your garden. With the rest of the locations left on your list from item 1, now observe how much sunlight or shade each location gets, and choose the ones with maximum amount of sunlight. You need at least 6 hours of sunlight to grow big ticket items such as peppers, large tomatoes, squashes, etc. But don't lose heart if you don't grow 6 hours of sunlight. There are plenty of plants that would grow in partial shade such as mushrooms, leafy greens, cherry tomatoes. You also need to keep in mind the accessibility of the location. This is because you will have to carry your gardening materials such as dirt, planters, etc. to this location. You will have to plant, water, and care for your plants in this location. If it is hard to reach to your garden, eventually you would avoid to go there. For example, in year 2020, we planted pole beans in front of this tall window which had boxwoods planted in front of it. When the plants grew, it was hard to reach the ones in the middle, and to harvest beans because the coarse leaves scratched us. Bumblebees had better luck than us to reach this location. Item number 3. Start small and grow what you eat. Now that we have the location sorted out, instead of having a grand plan in mind, we would suggest you to start small to avoid being overwhelmed, especially if you are a beginner gardener. Test the water first to decide if you enjoy gardening and want to continue with it or not. For example, we planted only 2 tomato plants, a few broccoli wrap plants, and a couple of other random plants in our first year of gardening. We started it in July 2019, and observing the nice tomatoes coming off these 2 plants, we decided to expand our garden in September 2019 to prepare for gardening in 2020. Year 2020 assured us that we want to continue with gardening without any doubt. So in 2021, we expanded our garden further by making several no-dig beds. Grow what you eat. Make a list of veggies you eat on a regular basis and pick 2 or 3 items from it to grow. Lettuce, tomatoes, and basil are easy to grow and good candidates for a beginner gardener to experiment with. Eating food you grew would bring huge sense of accomplishment and would encourage you to continue your gardening journey. Item number 4. Know the plant hardiness zone and frost dates in your area. You can simply Google plant hardiness zone. This would give you an idea of which plants will survive the winter in your area if left in ground. Similarly, Google frost dates by zip code. For example, we are using almanac.com, where when you enter a zip code, it would give you the first frost date, last frost date, and the number of frost-free days in your area. This is your gardening timetable. It would define for you when to start what seeds, which seedlings to keep indoors or keep covered to avoid frost damage, when to transplant, which plant varieties to grow, and other such factors. Item number 5. Soil is the key to gardening success. When we started gardening, we didn't realize how important is the nutrition in soil. Because soil should be able to grow plants, shouldn't it? Turns out, soil can get nutrient deficient too, which directly impacts the growth of plants and reduces the productivity. If you have to choose between investing on a fancy raised bed or good soil, always choose the soil. Always. When we expanded our garden, which has heavy clay soil, we just covered it with half an inch of compost and some fall leaves. No wonder our produce was not stellar, but we still grew 50 pounds of food that year and learned many important gardening lessons. Fast forward to 2021, we decided to invest in soil and order 7 cubic yards of compost. Everything in our garden is now covered in compost, and we are hoping for a great garden production. The next step for you would be to set up a garden bed or a container garden. We will cover how to set them up quick and easy in our next few videos to help you get started. If you found this video useful, please do like it and support our channel by subscribing to it. Do leave us a comment if you are starting a garden this year and what are your questions about how to start it. Thanks for watching.